بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على سيد المرسلين صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Hajj, I need to emphasize upfront, is not difficult. Okay. The thing is, we just have to remain very focused on what we're supposed to be doing. You are not going for Hajj to become a mufti. You are not going for Hajj for the sake of like learning all the rules. Alhamdulillah, just about every group has got a mufti, has got an alim on board who knows the masail of Hajj. So please take that stress away. But you're going there for a very, very special purpose. And that is what we need to emphasize. Okay. So the important thing is that you're not going to make Hajj. Hajj is going to make you. That is the purpose of Hajj. In the old days, when a person came back from Hajj, he was given the title of Haji. If you're in Cape Town and you're a Haji. Yeah. Because there was something different about a man who went for Hajj and a man who did not go for Hajj. And the man who went for Hajj had to come back different from the man who didn't go for Hajj. So what is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us in this Hajj? And that is the essence of it. If you make a mistake, the worst thing you can do is make a serious mistake and you'll have to pay one dam. But now get that off your head. It's fixable. Yeah. Except for the 3 arkan of Hajj, that if you leave out, then, but those are the very basic. If you leave those out, then your Hajj is not made. But the rest are all fixable. So there's no mistake that you can make that you will cause your Hajj to be wiped out. So Hajj, and I'm emphasizing these points because this is the essence of what I want to say. We will go through the 5 days of Hajj. We'll explain some of the detail of how to do things. But the asal of Hajj is this. That first of all, Hajj is going to make you. What is Hajj going to make you? It's going to make you a Haji. A Haji is somebody who is very different in his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he is also very different in the way he lives his life. He's new. And when you return a Haji, then your relationship with Allah Ta'ala has changed and you have changed. So just going there and doing all the things, and you did it perfectly. You were in Arafat on time, you completed the wukuf. You did everything, but it did not change you. Then what have you achieved? You've done your Hajj, Alhamdulillah. Let me give you a very simple example. Very simple example. If the car is smashed, and you take it now to the panel beater, and you say, "Bhai, this whole thing is damaged." He says, "It's a major smash, but we need like 4 weeks." Okay, no option, because now we need to sort the car out. So you leave it there for 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, you come and you go and fetch your car there. And you say, "Where's my car?" And he says, "Here's it." And you're looking at the car and you're saying, "But you did nothing." You see, "Yeah, but it was here. We did tap it a little bit. We did ding it a little bit. And we even spray painted it." You say, "But it's the same as it was before." Exactly. You go for Hajj. You get spray painted a little bit. You get dinged a little bit. But you're still the same person. Then you got a problem with your Hajj. Okay. So the asal of Hajj is we're going to come back new people. So before we go for Hajj, we need to now understand, why am I going for Hajj? It's your Farad Hajj, and there's only one Farad Hajj. Khalas. You'll never be able to make another Farad Hajj. Every Hajj thereafter will be Nafil. Okay. So you got to get it right. You've spent a lot of money, a lot of effort. You've had to change a lot of routines. The kids have to go here. You have to make arrangements for them, for job, for your business. So much effort. If you don't get it right, then unfortunately you have lost out on a very big thing. So the first thing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. Bas. Khalis lillah. I got no other motive here. And you know who read this ayat before you and me? Azazil, they call him Shaitan. So he knows all this. So everything that he knows here that is in Quran, he's going to say, Allah, watch, I make them do the other thing. Yeah. They say they came for you, watch what I do with them. So we have to be on guard all the time. All the time as a Haji, you have to be on guard. So as our first motive, our first objective in Hajj is to please Allah Ta'ala. Now the reason I'm saying is you keep your objective in mind because the side shows and the things come heavy and they come thick. How many of you guys fish? Fisherman, one, mashallah. Golfers? One golfer. Karisa, what are you doing? Cricket. When you go fishing, you have got an objective. Is to catch fish, right? Nobody that I know who went fishing came back and discussed the toilets. He discussed the chow. The only thing he's telling you about the one that got away, it was like his arms are not so long enough. Right? You had anyone who came back from fishing and say, you know, hey, the toilets were like this, because his objective was the fish. Listen to sometimes our judge coming back and he'll explain to you in detail how was the toilet in Mina. And I'm saying, bhai, your focus was on the wrong, it was in the wrong place. Because we have to keep our objective in mind. There will be difficulties. There will be challenges. That golfer is up there, he's there at 6 o'clock in the morning. He'll walk and he'll do his thing, and the ball goes in the water, he'll take his shoes and socks off and go in the water and go and take it out. He'll still get a 2-stroke penalty. But he'll go and take his ball out. He'll suffer all that. He'll never tell you, you know what, hey, I had to walk and it was such a long walk. No, he enjoyed his game because his objective was to play the game. Hajj is the same. If you keep your objective on Allah, I promise you every difficulty will look small. Not only look small, it will become pleasurable because I came here to make my Allah happy. Allah is worth me going through these difficulties. Allah is worth it that I go through all this, whatever it is. I am happy because I know what I'm getting. I'm going to get you. So the first objective is to please Allah. And if you please Allah, your Jannah is made. Your dunya is made. Your marriage is made. Everything is made. Okay. The second one is to upgrade yourself in your deen. You cannot come back from Hajj and be on the same level of deen as before you went. Then something is wrong. Same thing. The car came out of the panel beater. He did nothing. And he's still asking you for payment. No. You got to be a new person. You got to go there with the objective that Allah, I'm coming here to change my life. Because you know that hadith where a person who completed and he made Hajj Mabrur, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wipes out everything, literally gives him a new book, and he says, like the day you were born, here you are. But only difference is now you got a little bit akal. When you were small, you didn't know what you were doing. But now you got akal, but I'm giving you a chance to start. So Allah is going to give you the opportunity to start. Yeah. Sometimes in our computer guys, they know when you start, and you got the thing is just not going, you hit Control Alt Delete, yeah, or in your phone you take and you make a factory reset. You lose a couple of settings, but you like wiped out all the issues, problems. You like new. It's like a new phone. I can load on it what I want. That's what you're going to be. After Hajj, you're going to be a completely reset person, and you now need to load new software. Not the same stuff that was on the phone before. Clean stuff. So some principles of Hajj. It is not how perfectly you do the rites of Hajj. I mean, we don't have rituals. Rituals are those mindless things where people go and they ring a bell and they don't know why they rang it, but their grandfathers rang it, their great-grandfathers rang it. So they keep ringing the bell. Ours is rites, and our rites are full of meaning. And there's no time, but if you go into the meaning of Hajj, it's like, Allah, what did you give us? What honor you gave us? To walk in the footsteps of Anbiya alayhi salam, to do the actions that they did and they made you happy. Allah, you raised us to the rank of what the Anbiya alayhi salam did. So the first rule, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَا يَنَالَ اللَّهُ لُحُومَهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا. It is not, he's talking about Qurbani, but the principle applies to everything. It is not the blood and it's not the meat that reaches Allah. When we slaughter that animal, Allah Ta'ala doesn't get any, Allah doesn't want it. Yeah. Walakin, but, walakin, yanaluhu taqwa minkum. But what Allah Ta'ala wants to see, what was in your heart. So with every act that you're going to go and do, if you're going to go and pelt the shaitan, Allah, don't worry so how perfectly you pelted him and your stone was shining and your stone was accurate and you hit him so hard he actually felt it. No. Allah says, what was in your heart? If there was anything but Allah in your heart, then you got a problem. So that is the first rule. At every juncture in your Hajj, check what is in your heart, because Allah is checking. And Allah is making a record based on what is here, not what is outside. Outside I can look very, very pious and I can come back to the hotel and say, today I performed 4 tawaf. And the second one was so difficult. And Allah Ta'ala says, my servant, you went through so much pain to impress the people. I just needed little and you would have impressed me. But now leave it with the people, it's theirs. It's delicate. Second rule. Allah Ta'ala mentions, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. Enter into Islam completely. Don't pick and choose. Don't pick and choose to say, you know what, this part of Hajj I don't really like. I'm not going to do it. I'm finding this very hard. Mufti Sahib, is there a way to get around this? You know what, can I give 2 dam? I'll give 3 dam also. But this I don't want to do. Udkhulu fi silmi kaffa is not an option. Because the option on that is وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. If you're not into Islam completely, if you're not following Sharia in its entirety, you are following in the footsteps of Shaitan. And this one is one crux of a rule, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and is mentioning very nicely to all of you and to all of us, Al-Hajju Ashhurum Ma'lumat. Hajj is in months that are known. That we know, it's a specified time. And that also, Allah Ta'ala could have made it and said, you know what, all the people of Africa, you all go in August. All the people of Europe, you go in July, we'll reduce the crowds. Allah could have done that. But Allah wanted you to meet all our Muslim brothers from all over the world. From China to Kazakhstan to wherever. And they're all there. And they are our brothers and they're there for the same purpose. And I'll come to that point. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions وَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجِّ. Then whosoever is now going for Hajj, then 3 things. وَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. So Rafath is everything that is lewd. Politely, the Mufassirin translated it to intimate relations between husband and wife. But looking at another woman is part of Rafath. Allah Ta'ala said, no Rafath. Touching a woman that you're not supposed to touch is Rafath. Wala Fusuq. Fusuq is every sin, every wrongdoing that you can possibly do. And then Allah Ta'ala says, Wala Jidala fi al-Hajj. There's no arguing in Hajj. Who read this ayat before you? Shaitan. What is going to make you do? Rafath wal Fusuq wal Jidal. The most horrendous fight you will have with your wife will be in Hajj, if you're not careful. And I'm telling you, because Shaitan will say, watch Allah, see this. They came for Hajj. You told them, here's the ayat. You put it in Surah Baqarah. But watch what I do. What would I do with them? Allah, look what I do. The very things you told them don't make Rafath. But they're looking at all the beautiful women. One man came to Hazrat Hakim Sahib, Rahimullah. And he said, Hazrat, I just came from Hajj and the noor on the Indonesian woman is amazing. Hazrat was a Sheikh Kamil. He looked at him and he said, Salah, you couldn't see the noor on the Kaaba, but you saw it on the Indonesian woman. What's with you? So be very careful. Shaitan he got this. He got this whole thing and he says, here's the memo for them to pass, they need not to do three things. Allah doesn't say you must make so many rakat a day or you must. He just said, do your farayat, but don't do these three things. Don't argue. And I promise you, watch what arguments come out. I was sitting in Mina and I heard a man curse us all and promise that our Hajj is not accepted because somebody took his wife's pillow. For real. Somebody took his wife's pillow, so we were all cursed. Our Hajj was not accepted. My money went down the drain, and I didn't even take the pillow. But the man was beside himself. Wala jidala fil Hajj. And then Allah Ta'ala continues this ayat, which is not really the main topic of our discussion. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمُهُ اللَّهُ. Whatever good you do, a little small good, maybe you just made place in the surf for somebody to fit in. Allah Ta'ala said, I saw you. Yeah. Maybe you just, there was an old lady struggling up the escalator and you stepped aside. Allah Ta'ala said, I saw you. Maybe you saw somebody sitting there in the corner looking exhausted and you took him a cup of zamzam. Allah Ta'ala said, I saw you. Yeah. وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ زَادِ التَّقْوَى. And provide for yourself. Take your provisions, take whatever, but the best provision you're going to take is taqwa. وَاتَّقُونِي يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. O you who have intelligence. What is the intelligence? You have recognized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now, have that taqwa. So now Allah Ta'ala told you this is what you're not allowed to do. Now watch how the exams come. Guaranteed the bus will be late. Okay? They only use 34,000 buses. We South Africans think there's 13 buses and 14 roads only for us. So when the bus is late, then we start throwing small tantrums. And if it's a little bit more late, then we throw more tantrums. And then we swear the agent. He can't do anything. If I show you some of the crowds, you'll appreciate. There's 2 million people there. 2 million people got up from Arafat and they're walking to Muzdalifah or they're getting in a bus. 2 million. No way in the world is logistics like this. So you will be tested. Guaranteed you will be tested. How I know? Because in this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Sahaba Ikram, He said, I'm going to put in front of you, we don't know about hunting during Ihram, but that time, and still the law is that you cannot hunt during Ihram. It is not permissible and you're going to have to pay a penalty and all those things. But Allah Ta'ala says, I will place before you. Yeah. And Allah Ta'ala is addressing who? He's saying, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. You and me. Not somebody else. Yeah. لَيَبْلُوَنَّكُمُ اللَّهُ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الصَّيْدِ تَنَالُهُ. I will test you with something of game, of like hunting animals. They loved that. So now suddenly that buck, that like exquisite is a trophy hunt. He's sitting just there. You don't even have to like throw your spear. You can literally poke him. He's there. And you're in ihram. And Allah Ta'ala says, now you can't touch that animal. It's a test. Yeah. تَنَالُهُ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَرِحْمَاهُكُمْ. So Allah Ta'ala says, you can touch it. Literally with your hands will reach it and your spear will reach it. But what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see who fears Him in the unseen. يَعْلَمَ اللَّهُ مِنْ يَخَافُهُ بِالْغَيْبِ. Exactly. Suddenly you will see the most beautiful woman from all over the world. And it will be very tempting. And I'm telling you, it will be very tempting. At that time when you look down, what Allah Ta'ala said previously, whatever little you do, I know it. Nobody saw it but Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, I saw it. You will be tested because now is Jummah. You came there 3 hours before Jummah because you wanted a nice spot. And you sat down in your spot and you put your little bottle of water and your small tub of dates and you're enjoying yourself. And then came these 3 huge guys and they literally sat on top of you. At that time, it's very tempting to tell them which country they came from and how horrible is their lineage. At that time, you keep quiet. That was your test. When the bag got lost and your wife is very upset because all her clothes were in that. And that is your test. You're going to either run around like a crazy person swearing everybody, or you're going to make 2 rakat of salah and say, Allah, please help me, and then go in a rational manner and go look for the bag. You're going to be tested, guaranteed. If you are not tested, then you are not in. It's like this student who came to class and nobody tested him. Either he's ultra brilliant or he's so off track, like he's not even worth testing. So what is the reward of all this? Yeah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that whosoever performed Hajj, and he didn't do those 3 things. He did not walam yarfus, walam yafsuk. Yeah. Then he returns how? Like the day his mother gave birth to him. Control Alt Delete. You start again. Allah Ta'ala says, everything you did, 40 years, 50 years, I cleaned it out. Now start. But now you got akal. Because Allah Ta'ala previously addressed us as Ulul Albab. So, just understand who you are. You are not ordinary people. If you take the estimated population of Muslim population, it's about 2.2 billion. Okay. They estimate this year they may get maximum 2 million pilgrims or Hajj. If you work that out, it's 0.9% of the ummah that will make it there. You are part of that. Out of every 1,100 people, Allah Ta'ala chose one. You are that one. So understand how special you are. Hazrat Abu Hurairah mentioned, and he said that which deed is best. He asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi alayhi salam told him to believe in Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he asked, what is next? And he said, jihad for the sake of Allah. And he said, what is next? He didn't say Hajj. He said an accepted Hajj. What we call Hajj Mabrur or Hajj Maqbool. So what is Hajj Maqbool? That I was on Arafat on time, I was in Muzdalifah on time, I was in Mina on time, I did all those things. No, listen to Nabi alayhi salam's definition. Al-Hajj Mabrur is what? Nabi alayhi salam said, Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhuma, he said, the accepted Hajj, Hajj Mabrur, has no reward except Jannah. In other words, like it's a given, there's no other reward that Allah Ta'ala can give. And when they asked Nabi alayhi salam, what is Hajj Mabrur? He didn't say so many tawafs or so many sa'i. He said 2 small things. He said, Ita'amut ta'am wa tibul kalam. Tibul kalam. So simple. Feeding people and talking sweetly. So now you see where's Hajj. It's not in all those rites. It's not about going to say I made so many tawaf. You hurt one person, then you've lost this. You spoke harshly to the man at the desk because he was just a little bit delayed with your room. Yeah. You criticized the auntie because she came and sat on your musalla. then where's Tibul Kalam? So remember this. And in many other hadith, Hajj Mabrur or Hajj Makbul is in one hadith feeding others and speaking well. This one I mentioned, feeding others and greeting others a lot. That's why Allah Ta'ala brought the whole Ummah together and avoiding sins. So now we shall. So now you got the gist of what Hajj is. It's not about doing all these things and all the rites of Hajj and getting it perfect. It is about doing these things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to do. So now we're going to start our actual thing. And we're going to start with Ihram. So Ihram is a prerequisite. If you do not enter the state of Ihram, you cannot make Hajj, or you can make Hajj, but it will not be accepted or completed. So what is Ihram? Is to enter a state of purity with very strict laws. Now Allah Ta'ala is making us, Ihram is not just, okay, Allah Ta'ala is saying everything that you were, everything that defined you, your Armani clothes and your Gucci bag and your fancy hairstyle, no more. You nobody. Everybody, the professor, the alim, the sheikh, the Allah Hazrat, all wearing the same 2 pieces of white cloth. Okay. And as I said, it is not just the cloth, because the woman, they're allowed to dress as they wish. So it is not about that. So you've got to, before entering inside the miqat, which is defined by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and generally for us, it is here when we're coming from the south by plane, then it is at Yalamlam. If you cross this place without being in the state of ihram, then you must give dam. Okay. So if you are traveling and you are on a plane and you're going straight to Makkah first, then you're going to Medina Sharif, as you see, there is outside the miqat. Okay. If you're going first to Medina Sharif, which usually the South Africans do, then you will go to Zul Halayfa, which is also known as Bir Ali. And from there you will put on, or you will make your 2 rakats of ihram, and then you will come into the miqat. So this entire area, depending which side you're coming on from, you cannot enter it without being, if you're a resident of Makkah, then it's okay. Jeddah is included in there. Okay, your plane is going to land in Jeddah. If you think you're going to put ihram on in Jeddah, you're wrong. Okay, so you need to do this. For women, it's relatively easy. You can wear any clothes, provided it covers the satar completely, of any color, not necessarily has to be white. It's actually very difficult during Hajj to keep white clothes white. So maybe just choose a black cloak and have an extra one in the bag. You can change your clothing during ihram, it's not a problem. Same with the men, you want to take an extra towel with, no problem. Yeah. The prohibitions for men and women are the same. Okay. I just want to say something about covering the face during ihram. It is not permissible for a man to cover his head and his face, and it's not permissible for a woman to cover her face, or for something to touch her face. So one of the ways around that is they wear this peak cap, and then the cloth hangs over there. That is one of the options. The other options is that you can, as Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha said that they used to, their faces were uncovered, and then when they would come to where there would be a lot of men, they would cover themselves. So that is also one option. But you can discuss it with the ulama that are with you. But if you're going to wear this, then you must prepare it. And now, fortunately, they're on sale, so it's very easy and you can comply. If this cloth touches your face and is less than 24 hours, then it is permissible. Then you just have, it's not permitted, you have to just give sadaqah. If it's more than 24 hours, so what happens, sometimes the women cover themselves, they open it, cover themselves, and you just have to give sadaqah. For the men, it is 2 pieces of cloth, usually white, but it doesn't have to be. Okay. No sewn clothes. Now, I must just explain what are sewn clothes. Where you wear clothes where it is in the fashion of a garment. So a jacket is a sewn clothes, because otherwise you get these huge debates because your sandal has got stitches in it. They said no stitched clothes, or your belt has got stitches in it. Now we're having this massive debate, and why you got stitches? No. Anything that is in the form of a garment that is worn as a garment. So if I got a jacket in ihram and I put it over my shoulders, I'm okay, because I'm not wearing it like a jacket. If I'm lying down and I'm asleep and I cover my chest with it, it's okay. But the moment I put my hands in the sleeves, then I've made it a garment. Okay. On that same count, underwear is not permissible, right? For the men. If you have an issue, then discuss it. There are ways around it. We can deal with it. We can attend to it. It is permissible to wear a belt. The Velcro ihrams are very convenient. If you wish to, the ulama have given permission for it. It doesn't have to be that it has no, how you say, it must not be stitched, and we get into technicalities. In your ihram, it is farad to keep your satar covered. If you use 20 pins, use 20 pins, but keep your satar covered. Because sometimes we're not accustomed to lungis, we're not accustomed to slit lungis, and then you see the man fell asleep and he's like, not very pleasant to watch what you're seeing there. Okay. Okay. The other discussion is the issue of the shoes. Now, the 2 bones that need to be uncovered, Ka'bain, are those 2 that are high. So this one is this bone, and if you really want to know, it's the navicular bone. And the other are the 2 malleoli of the ankles. So that must be exposed. So I put it here just in a skeletal form so you can see precisely what needs to be. So if you run your hand down from your front of your foot down, you'll come to a bump. That bump must be exposed. Okay. So this area, a little bit, this area, that one is almost on the bump. This line should be a little bit lower. So the ankle is exposed and this bump is exposed. In the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned when he was asked exactly what you could wear, then he said, everything ma asfala min al-ka'bayn, whatever is lower than these 2 high spots, that one and that one, that can be covered. Okay. And I'm giving you the Hanafi masala. Please don't mix it. The Shafis have a slightly different view on this. So if you take this, now you understand where we at in terms of the shoe, then the following are permissible. Okay, so there's that navicular bone that's exposed, there's the ankle bones that are exposed. The heel doesn't have to be exposed. So the ideal is a beach tongue. That one works. This one doesn't work. Why? Because of that strap. Okay, hoofs not allowed because you covered everything. Nowadays you get a lot of shoes that are compliant. This is one of them. There's that Hajj shoe. Now this one is not permissible because it covers that whole area there. Okay, but this one is. So you see this area up to about there must be open. You got it on the shoes. Any questions on the shoes?
The reason for that.
G?
The reason for having it.
The reason for having it open is because Nabi alayhi salam specified it. Hajj, one of the things is it's illogical. For the simple reason Allah is saying, I make the rules. Never in your life were you told to leave a namaz. When you're leaving Arafat, Allah Ta'ala says, leave your Maghrib namaz. You will make it together with your Isha. And normally we don't combine Salah. So everything, normally they always keep your head covered, wear your topi. Allah Ta'ala says, now you take your topi out. Everything upside, because Allah is saying, these laws are my laws. I change them how I want, where I want. Okay. And when you want to be a slave doesn't ask the master why. If you've got a guy working in the shop and you tell him pack the box here and he says, boss, why? He says, not for you to know why, just pack it. Yeah? So a lot of this, there's wisdom, but it wasn't given to us for whatever reason. So some of the prohibitions in ihram, as I said, I mentioned, so to wear sewn clothing in the usual manner. Okay. If you put that jacket and you just popped it over your shoulder or whatever, so long as you don't wear it as in the usual, to use fragrance, to apply a fragrant oil, to remove hair from any part of the body, to cut the nails, to be indecent, transgress or quarrel, again, wala rafatha, wala fusuqa, wala jidala, fil hajj. To indulge in sexual intimacy, to cover the head or face for men and to cover the face for women, to wear socks and shoes or sandals that cover the ankle or forefoot. We'll discuss this a little bit in detail. So when it comes to perfume, prior to you putting or entering the state of ihram, it's permissible to do all those things. So you can cut your nails nicely, even if you're wearing the 2 pieces of cloth. Until you haven't made the 2 rakat of ihram and you haven't made the intention, until that time, you are not in the state of ihram, and then you can do all these things. But do not put the perfume, and it was the sunnah, as Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha explained that during Hajj, she applied the itar to the body, Mubarak body of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But try not to put it on the ihram itself, because then it like stays there and it's just should not be there during ihram. Not to use any fragrant soap, deodorants or toothpaste. You can use unscented soap or deodorants. And they are available. If you go to Bin Dawood, they got a little pack of a small deodorant, a soap, and something else, a shampoo, which don't have fragrance. Be very cautious, because sometimes when you go to Mina in the camps, they have soap dispensers by the basins. And some of those soap basins have, some soap dispensers have fragrant soap. So please be cautious of it. If you apply a little bit less than a quarter of a lam, then you give sadaqah. So if by mistake you just put a little ether and then you realize, oh no, wash it off, then sadaqah. We recommend after ihram or after the hajj, anyway, give some sadaqah for any violation of ihram. If it's more than that, if you covered a quarter of the lam, then you got to give kandam. What about fragrant food? Yeah, that is soji there, with raisins and almonds.
No ilachi.
Yeah, because we in Hajj. We in Hajj, Melissa, you cannot chow ilachi. Okay. If the food is sweet, and just give you baselines, because for every 100 Hajis, there are 103 muftis. Okay. Because they got themselves, plus they got their Google, and then, you know, everybody's a mufti. Just know your rules. Go to the one you trust and ask him. And we'll debate this, because if it's got a sweet taste, it doesn't mean that it is not permitted. But if it's like got a fragrant taste, if you got a Tic Tac has got that little breath freshener. That one is makruh. I've looked through a few fatwa. There's nothing that says haram, but they say makruh because you're detracting from it. So similarly with toothpaste, if you do use it, if you do eat these kind of foods, no problem, but it is better to avoid it. Okay, it will be makruh for the one in ihram to consume such foods. Some foods have a natural sweet smell that's left in the mouth, like a nachi, but it doesn't give a fragrance. You know, you can just like taste it and you can maybe smell a little bit nachi, but that is not a problem. Those kind of things are not an issue. We did the clothes. If you violate the clothes, if you violate it for 24 hours, then you are going to have to give dam. Dam is to slaughter one small animal inside the area of the haram. It's going to cost you like about 3,000 to 4,000 rand. Okay, so you don't want to make mistakes. When it comes to smoking and vaping, I looked at all masail. The Arab ulama are very strict on smoking, and they regard smoking as haram or makruh tahrimi. So to smoke during ihram is really something that they look down upon. Our ulama have made it at worst makruh tahrimi. But if you do smoke in ihram, it doesn't break your ihram or anything, but it's not something that you want to be doing in ihram. With vapes, similarly, some of those vapes have got a very sweet taste or sweet smell. And that again comes again with a similar thing like the food. So if it's got that after you smoked and you breathe on somebody and they get that sweet smell, that one is not going to be valid. Cutting the hair and nails, you can't cut your hair while you're in the state of ihram. So on that count, if you got a beard and usually it starts itching and that because you haven't had a bath for 2 days, don't scratch it too vigorously because then you're going to like take out hair. If you need to, then just gently like rub the spots so that you don't, and if some hair do fall out, you will have to give out sadaqah. But if you cut more than 1/4 of the head, then you're going to have to give down. You can't shave, you can't cut your nails. You can lightly scratch the skin or beard. So we recommend, usually we scratch with the nails, just scratch with the fingertips. That way you're not going to do damage, you're not going to pull out hair, you're not going to cause problems. Okay. I've listed the penalties there. Inshallah, you won't need to, as I say, after your Hajj, please give out some sadaqah to say that whatever mistakes I made therein, this is to compensate for it. It is permissible to bath. In fact, it is sunnah to take a bath on the day of Arafah, if you are able to. It is permissible to wear a ring, a watch, sunglasses also. It's permissible to wear a belt. Please get yourself one of those moon bags, because there's no place for your cell phone, your money. The new Velcro ones got pockets, but the others don't have. So you need this. It's really a handy thing because your cell phone, your little bit of money is right there with you. Otherwise, every time you must reach into your backpack for your cell phone, you're going to find it very awkward. It's permissible to sit under the shade. You'll see some of the buses where the roof is cut off because some of the people are of the opinion that there must be nothing above your head. To use a miswak, even if it is a fresh miswak and it leaves a little bit of a taste in the mouth, if you have that one nail that is chipped and is irritating you very badly, then it is permissible to cut it. To scratch the body without breaking hair, to use non-sewn clothes for men, to use a bandage. So even if the bandage now you're wrapping it up on half a limb if it's necessary, to take injection or vaccination, to cover the entire body besides the head and mouth. So when you sleep there and you're sleeping in Mina, it's permissible to use a blanket, but I know sometimes we have the habit of putting it over our heads. That is not going to be permissible. To carry something on the head, to sit in so if you smell somebody else's perfume, no problem, but don't make it deliberate. So these are the prohibitions and the restrictions of ihram. Any questions on that? Bas, we'll take a break. There's some refreshments at the back. And my dear nephew Zain has brought some Hajj bags for you. So please help yourself to the refreshments. Take a Hajj bag. Melissa, did the notes come?
The notes came in, the Hajj bag also came for the kitab, so both are here. So there's 4 things. There's 2 sets of notes.
There's 2 sets of notes, G.
There's a bag and there's a Hajj kitab set. There's 4 things.
Okay, there's a bag of pack of Hajj kitabs, and there's a very useful little Hajj bag, which serves as a shoe bag. It's got some medicines in it. It's got a little tasbih. Allah reward those people who put it together. So please just make sure you collect that. The notes I printed, so if you could just keep it to 1 to a household, because I printed, I think, 30 sets.
We made more.
We made more, sharp. So have a break. We'll take about 10 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll continue with the 5 days. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we come back to the Arkan of Hajj. And the Arkan of Hajj are not the Farad of Hajj. It's like the very basis of it. So in the absence of these 3, there is no Hajj. So you need to enter in the state of Ihram, and that is your intention. So wearing the 2 pieces of cloth, after that you have to make intention that I am now entering into the state of ihram. Even the 2 rakats, sunnat of ihram, they are sunnah. So if you are in a makruh time and you don't manage to read them, or you're in a plane or whatever, your ihram is still valid provided you made the intention. To read that 2 rakat is sunnah. And then the standing in Arafat and Tawafu Ziyarah. Those 3 are the arkan of Hajj. In the absence of these 3, if you miss any of them, then your Hajj is not complete and you will have to complete them. And I'll come back to Tawafu Ziyarah at a later date. Okay, so what are the wajibat of Hajj? And these, if you leave out, then you're going to have to give a down to make the wukuf at Muzdalifah. So that means you have to. And please, I'm saying this again, the rulings that I'm giving you are from the Hanafi madhab. The Shafi madhab is slightly different. So the wukuf of Muzdalifah for a Hanafi is just after Fajr Salah, right until the time of sunrise. To make sa'i between Safa and Marwa, to do the rami, the pelting, to make qurbani, to shave or trim the hair, to make the tawaful wida. Now there's 2 tawafs. The one is tawaful ziyarah and the other one is tawaful wida. Tawaful ziyarah is compulsory. Even if a woman is not reading, if she's off, that tawaf will have to be made. Tawaful wida, if a woman is unable to read it, then that one is excused. But tawaful ziyarah is not excused. And then for the Hanafis, that order to pelt first, then the qurbani, then cut the hair. According to the Shawafi, this doesn't matter in which order you do it. Okay. Just on the point of Jimufsa.
So, Professor, nowadays, where they got this, you don't even know qurbani, you're not doing it yourself. So, how must we get this thing right?
The agents will send you SMS to say your qurbani has been completed. Okay. Just on the ihram, Mufti Sahib corrected me. I said 24 hours if you wear something. So if you cover your face for 24 hours, Mufti Sahib corrected me, it is 12 hours. So if you wear, if you cover your face for 12 hours or more, then you will have to give down. If it's less than that, then you have to give sadaqah. So there's 3 different types of Hajj. I'm not going to go into all the different types in that. But generally the one that we make is the one called Tamattu. You will come to Makkah Mukarramah. Usually our tertib with South Africans is we go to Medina Munawwara. We spend our few days there. Then from there we put ihram on and we go to Makkah Mukarramah and we perform a complete Umrah like how we normally do. Okay. Then on the days of Hajj, on the 8th of Zil Hajj, we will then put on we'll go freshly into a new state of ihram. So there's 2 states of ihram. The one was for Umrah and the one was for Hajj. So the 2 separate events, and then we will complete the Hajj and the Umrah, and you will have to slaughter an animal. The other one is where you combine the Hajj and Umrah, is Qiran Hajj, where you come into Makkah and with the intention of Umrah, and you stay in ihram right until Hajj, and you perform your Hajj and Umrah with one ihram. Okay, they also have to slaughter. And then the last one is Ifrad. Ifrad is basically you only came for the sake of Hajj, you didn't make Umrah. Not going to give you all the technicalities of it, but this is the one that we usually do, is Tamattu. So very basically, Hajj, if we start at Makkah, we start at Mina, which is the 8th. We will go to Arafat, which is the 9th of Hajj, and the 9th of Zil Hajj. We will spend the day there until Maghrib. We will then go to Muzdalifah, which is between Mina and Arafat. And then from there we will go for the 4th, 5th and 6th days we will spend in Mina. But on that day, on the 10th, you will have to do all these activities of slaughtering an animal, shaving your hair. If you can, tawaf or ziyarah, but I'm coming to that. So basically this is more or less the flow of events. But this one gives it a little bit nicely. So the first day is the day in Mina. At the bottom I put there wearing ihram because some people stress and they say now 5 days of ihram, I'm not going to survive. It's literally 2.5 days. Day 2 is day of Arafat. That is your Hajj. Al-Hajju Arafah. Khalas. If you didn't focus, and this is what, please focus on Arafat. Some people get enthusiastic, I want to walk. No problem. But if you walk and then the whole day of Arafat you fast asleep, you miss something. Okay? If you, in this day is, this is what you paid for, this is what you work for, this is why you here, is for Arafah. Everything else was preparation. This was the day where they basically Sahaba would come and they would water the animals, and because they came from far and they all came to one place. So it was a day of rest. And some people don't observe this, but your agent will take you then to Mina and you will be settled in your camp the first day. That day in the morning, the wukuf starts from Zawal until Maghrib. Please cooperate with the agent. Sometimes they'll tell you 2 o'clock in the morning we're going to Arafah. And you say, but it's not Sunnah. We know it is not Sunnah, but in order to, for logistical purposes, it's very difficult to fulfill all the Sunnah, because the Sunnah is to leave after Fajr. But now, because 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to take you literally 45 minutes. If you want to leave in the morning, it can take you 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah. So, if you have your mic on, please mute it. So please cooperate with them. I know they're trying their best. They're doing whatever they are able to. So cooperate with them. Then that night from Arafat, you will go to Muzdalifah and you will spend the night in Muzdalifah. And the next day you in Mina, you will pelt. You will then make your qurbani and you will shave your hair, and then your ihram ends. Your ihram ends. Okay? So it's not 5 days. If you want to make your qurbani here, no problem. Still permissible. You stay in ihram. But generally, at that time, the agents will tell you your qurbani has been completed. You may go and cut your hair. Then you cut your hair and you can go and make your tawaf ziyarah. Tawaf ziyarah can be made on day 3, 4, or 5. Okay? So don't be in a rush. It is an unbelievable chaos on the first day because everybody wants to go. And it's not very easy. The journey from Azizia to Makkah, which is 7 kilometers, can take you up to 2 to 3 hours. Okay, there's traffic everywhere. There's 2 million people all wanting to do the same thing. And then there's an optional 6th day that you can also pelt, and there's great reward in it. So if you are able to, and that's what you came for, then do that. So let us start now with the first day. The first day is known as Yom Tarwiyah, because this was the day of watering of the animals and taking a break and resting and whatever. Just what I said, Arafah. We're building up strength for Arafah. We took the break, we rested, we planned ourselves for Arafah on this day. So we get to Mina. I'm going to give you the Sunnah tertib, but it's not necessarily, it might not be possible. So after Ishraq, on the 8th of Zil Hajj, you will put on your ihram in Makkah and you will proceed to Mina. Makkah to Mina is not far. If you want to walk it, it's about 5.5 k's. Okay, but you need to know where you're going. Okay, you need to know where you're going. If I show you and you tell everybody that I stay in a white tent, yeah, you very lost. Okay. So you will proceed to Mina, you will perform your 5 salah there. I cannot emphasize this, I know I'm like harping on the point. Focus on Arafah tomorrow. Today is not the time to talk about different masail and whether that chicken is halal or you know what, can we eat this one here? Leave it. Just now you're planning, you're going to talk to Allah. It's like you got a meeting that you will never have again. And now you are going to sit there in Mina. And I've seen some very unusual things where the guys are now discussing the cricket scores and they're phoning home and they, bro, you spend 100,000 for this? Seriously? Be very careful. Shaitan don't like you. And he's coming there. He's there. It's a very holy place there, but believe me, there's more shayateen there than anywhere else. So this is the first day you will pray all 5 salah there. If you are able to, as I say, if the agent tells you 2 in the morning, we're leaving, we're leaving. That is what Mina looks like. Okay. Those are the Jamarat. Everywhere else is tents for 2 million people. All the tents are white. Okay. If you don't know where you're staying, please stay in your camp. Please stay in your camp. It is very easy to get lost. And you will just walk around for 3 hours not having a clue. Okay. And please stay with your women folk. If they say they want to go and buy coffee or they want something outside, you go with them. That's what you went as a mahram. Wherever they go, you go with them. It is, while we appreciate the piety of the place, not everybody who comes there is pious. Okay? There are people there who will steal. There are people there who will grope the woman. There are people there who will do all sorts of ridiculous things. We need to just be aware. Friend of mine, he came back and he was looking a little flustered and he said, you know what, I kissed the Azriya. So I said, mashallah. He said, but it cost me a packet. I said, what do you mean? You bribed somebody or what did you do? He says, no, when I came to Hazrat Aswad, these 2 guys lifted me up and they put me there and they helped me. And they like held me there till I kissed and enjoyed and that. And then when I came out and I wanted money for my taxi, I realized my wallet's gone. They say from under my kurta, in my shorts, in a zipped pocket, gone. Right with the Hazrat Aswad. I said, never mind, you got what it cost you money, but you got something special. So please don't walk around here. You will not find this place. The South African camp, the D camp is somewhere here at the back. It's a fair bit of a walk. Okay, so that's day 1. Got it? Day 1, we in Mina, we chilled, we had a good time, we ate nicely. The bathrooms are comfortable, they're not home. The food is comfortable, is not home. Okay. I know the food is included in the package and whatever, but if you didn't get a bit of food, it's by Allah's will. Imagine you invite guests to your wedding, and the one guest is standing there and saying, you know what, all these people, just leave them out. I must get food first. You tell him, who are you? Say, no, you invited me. Exactly. I invited all these people. Allah Ta'ala says, I invited all 2 million. I invited them. There's people who got more money, who got more resources than you and I. But Allah Ta'ala says, I invited you. Yeah. 0.09% you are here. But now behave like my guest. Not like you, the host, and I'm your guest. This is it. Arafah. Okay. The sunnah is after Fajr Salah, you depart for Arafah. If you want to walk, it's a long distance, it's 13 kilometers. As I say, the essence is the wukuf of Arafah. If you're not accustomed to walking 13 kilometers in a shoe that is impossible, in temperatures that are close to 45 degrees, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Even if you play pedal every Saturday, it still doesn't make you a walker. Okay. Do not destroy, and there's no fazilat for walking. Yeah, I'll tell you where to walk and where it's good to walk. You will rest until the Zuhr. There's nothing to do because the wukuf starts after Zawal. Sometimes you get people and they sit there and they take out these long lists, you know what, 124,000 times first kalima, and then 82,000 times third kalima. By the time Zawal comes, they wiped out. Okay? And they're not even now number 7 on the list. Read whatever you're comfortable with. Pray whatever you can. Do not engage in useless talk. And worse, do not engage in ghibat. Please don't engage in ghibat. In the haram of Makkah, everything is multiplied 100,000 times. One salah is 100,000. One sin is 100,000. Okay, you don't want to take the chance. You don't want to bump the old lady even if she's standing in your way. Don't. This whole issue of whether we join Zohr and Asr, I'm not going to get into that. Just go with the ulama of your group, say if we're joining, we're joining. We're not. Then starts the wukuf of Arafah. And it lasts until the sun sets. So even if they tell you after Asr, get on the bus, but continue making dua. Because the wukuf, the dua is accepted till the time of Maghrib. And you will depart after Maghrib. They do not open the borders until Maghrib, the sun is set and the Maghrib Azan is gone. Then only they open the borders. And if you're walking, you'll see it. You stand there literally and they open it and like this massive crowd starts moving. That is beautiful. Really, if you just look at it with the eye, that love, all these are your people. All of those, all with the yellow umbrella, with the blue umbrella, all of them are yours. And they're all there for only one purpose. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. I'm no special. Allah, you made it that I must look like the same. There's nothing special about me. Here at home, I walk into the masjid and 17 people come greet me. Nobody even looks at you. Nobody knows whether you Moli Saab, Dr. Saab, whatever other Saab you are. Nobody knows. But you came for Allah. So, on this day is the day you're going to get your control all delete. Allah is going to reset everything. Allah is going to wipe out 50 years of sins, 40 years of sins, 80 years of sins, completely. This was one of the days when Shaitan throws dust on his head and he's saying like 40 years of effort on this man. He's gone. He's gone. To the extent ulama say that if you on this day think that you were not forgiven, it is a sin. And I promise you, you will meet Allah. Provided your heart is in good shape, you will meet Allah and you will talk to Allah. And on this day, Allah Ta'ala frees so many slaves. May Allah make us all amongst them. So that is Arafat, that round circle there is Jabal Rahmah, which is like the center point of Arafat, and these are all camps. There's 2 million people in here. Okay, somewhere here is your camp. Please don't be a hero and say, I need to get to Jabal Rahmah. Allah is listening to you where you are in your camp. Okay, it's, when I come to the practical aspects, it is extremely hot. It is extremely difficult. And if you don't know your way around, you're going to get lost. You're going to spend the best part of your Arafat running around looking for your camp. They made every kind of facility. They planted these trees. They've got these prayers. But still, you're talking of temperatures of 45 degrees plus. Okay, and because the facilities are not as good as Mina, you don't have the fancy air cons in that, depending on which package you took. But you can get the platinum package, I think 25,000 riyals. Give you a recliner, Mufti, and private butler. No, they don't give other things.
Talk softly, the wife is going to hear.
The wife is listening. Okay, so how do we make wukuf? So after you've performed your Zohar Salah, you go out and preferably stand. Wukuf means to stand. Okay? And you stand there and you talk to Allah one-to-one. And you beg Allah. And you plead with Allah for everything. And before you go, make a list. Like how we got the list of shopping to say, I need this scarf from Bidune Sermon. Don't forget to get me that one from this shop. We got a dua list. If a man asks you, you know what, my child is sick, please make dua. Write it down in your little book when they come visit you. That way, otherwise you see a man who is sleeping. I said, what? Aren't you making dua? He said, no, I finished making all the duas. Half an hour later, I'm done. I made all my duas. Like, hello. So make dua repeatedly. Just stand there and just beg Allah. Allah forgive me. Allah forgive me. Allah forgive my wife. Forgive my children. And when you're tired, don't go and sit in the tent and sleep. Sit down and still make dua. If you don't know what dua to make, take one of those dark kitabs like Munajat-e Maqbool or any one of them and read from there, but read the English also. du'as are made, du'as are not read. If you took a fancy, the whole, whichever one kitab that you feel like, and you read the whole thing, but you don't understand what you asked Allah, then where was the conversation, the bond between you and Allah? The bond is between you and Allah. Allah is saying, my servant, what you want? And you're reading from some book about something that you want, and it's none of your needs. But if you don't know, then there's books that have the du'as of Nabi alayhi salam. So read. If you're tired, sit, but don't stop making dua. If you're on the bus, as I say, they put you sometimes because they got 2 million people to shift, and they're all going to Muzdalifah. Don't stop. If a collective dua is being made and it is to your benefit, and maybe the person making it is a very pious person, by all means join it. But it is not obligatory on you. Take your wife, go and stand in one corner, make dua with her, let her say Ameen, then let her make dua and you say Ameen. Okay. So you just stand there and you make dua. As I say, if you want to make collective dua, no problem. But maybe the man who's making dua there in front, he wanted the red Ferrari, you wanted the yellow one. Now you've got a problem. And you saying Ameen to his dua and you get a red Ferrari, then you got a problem. So just make your own duas. Ask your wife when you make dua and she'll say Ameen. And really this, as I say, Shaitan wants to see you fight. You know how he hates it when he sees you, two of you making dua together. And there's no fight. And she's saying Ameen to your duas and you saying Ameen to her duas. And he like, yeah, if he has hail, tear it all out. As I say, if you got a kitab and you need to read, by all means. So now comes Maghrib, now you've made your dua, you've really exhaust yourself from Arafat, exhaust yourself. Because that is Hajj. And that is why even before Hajj, before the 5 days, I tell people, especially if you're staying in Azizia, just drop your pace, because maybe you were there for 3 weeks or 4 weeks in Makkah and you were making tawaf every day and you were going to the haram and you were, that few days before, just drop it, because you need to rest. We're not used to that kind of level of activity. We're not used to those temperatures. We're not used to any of those things. So we went now from Arafat. We are now going to Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah is only that night. So Maghrib time, you will not perform Maghrib Salah. Allah Ta'ala made it, you are not praying Maghrib Salah, period. When you get to Muzdalifah, you'll pray Maghrib and Isha combined. You'll make one azan and 2 iqamah. So you'll make azan and you'll see little groups, maybe your own group. They'll make azan, they'll make iqamah. You perform your Maghrib Salah. They make another iqamah, you perform your Isha. And then, okay, you get to Muzdalifah, you perform your Maghrib and your Isha. You will collect your pebbles in Muzdalifah. Okay. It's just easier. The actual sunnah is only to collect your pebbles for the next day in Muzdalifah, the others you collect in Mina itself. You will pray and you will rest. There are no facilities there. There are toilet facilities, but there's no camp per se. There's no, that is how you stay. Okay, you just got a place of your own tarmac. But I promise you, that's the most wonderful sleep you'll ever have in your life. You put your little haji mat down. Take some snacks with you. Always carry 2 bottles of water, one for drinking, one for wudu, because maybe you won't get to the toilet facilities. Always have a little haji mat that you can put down on the ground. You'll see some people have like little tents. You can do so if you want to. It's but it's just a schlep to carry. Don't make your backpack for Hajj too heavy. Really, you don't need a full ihram. You don't need a stove. You don't need all those things. Just take the basic stuff, because you're going to carry it on your back and it's not very easy to move around. Okay. So there's no formal sleeping place. Sometimes the facilities are a little bit crowded because there's not a lot. They've improved it a lot. There is, towards the end of Muzdalifah, there's places that sell food, and it's very easy to get lost. Very, very easy, and very impossible to find because there's no landmarks. There's one masjid there, and as I say, there's so many people there, so many people, it's just very difficult. And you don't have to go very far to collect your stones are nearby, you collect your stones, and you'll see the people, really everybody just got one thing in mind, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. That is the walkway, this is how you sleep right there. Yeah, you couldn't be bothered if there's all this dirt and there's all things there, you're sleeping. Because you're exhausted from Arafah. And if your bus, sometimes you park nearby, often what happens is the bus will get to here, they might not be allowed to park. He'll say, get off because you have to be in Muzdalifah, and then he'll go. So to walk from Muzdalifah to Mina, that is a reasonable thing. It's about 6 km. Okay? It's not too bad. You're going to be walking straight after Fajr. It's not too hot. It's comfortable. You know where to go. You're heading for the Jamarat. Everybody's going for the same thing. You'll go straight for the Jamarat. It's not too difficult to get lost. Then you will go back to your camp. So after that, the stones that you will need for the first day. That's on the 10th, the 7th. Then you're going to pelt 3 shayateen, one on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. The stones must be the size of a chickpea. They don't have to be rocks. Okay, you're not hurting the shaitan. He's really not impressed. It's sunnah not to wash the stones. Okay? If it's soft, it's not a stone. Put it in, what's a useful thing is to take different bank packets and you pack it 7 in each one. So when you go to the Jamarat, because it's like a little bit congested, you don't have to start count and then did I put knock 4 or 5. You know, I finished the packet, I finished 7. I'm done. So that night you will spend in Muzdalifah on the 10th of Zilhajj, which is the day of Eid, but you're not going to make Eid, you don't go for Eid Salah. You will arrive in Mina and you will only pelt the big Jamarat. And then you will wait for your Qurbani to be done. When you receive that SMS, you will then trim or shave your hair. You're then allowed to change your clothes. You are now out of Ihram. Everything is permissible. All the prohibitions of Ihram fall away. So you can put ether, you can use scent, you can eat the soji or the elachi, you can do all those things. But you cannot have intimate relations until Tawafu Ziyarah. Now this becomes a bit of a problem because if that woman does not make her Tawafu Ziyarah, that means you cannot do that for a long time. Or if you do, the penalty is not a dham, is a budn. A budn is 1 camel. It will cost you like 12,000 rand. Your Qurbani must be done in the Haram area, but usually your agents will cover it for you. It's 1 share per person, and this is dham as shukriya. Now, you can ask, if you're going to be muqim in that place, then you're going to have to make 2. Your normal Qurbani, which is still wajib on you, and your dham shukriya, which is the extra. If you musafir, your normal sacrifice at home, that one falls away. Your agent will tell you when it's done, and yeah, it's quite a job. They do 770,000 animals. So you can imagine how much is going down. It lasts for 3 days. But usually the agents have got the thing sorted out. For the pelting is an ibadah. It is not a war. You don't have to fight. They've really made the facilities very, very, very decent. They control the flow. They've done, despite people not cooperating, they've tried very hard to the best of their ability to make it easy, comfortable, and safe. Cooperate with them. Sometimes you have to walk a little bit more because they won't let you onto the floor that you want to go to. No problem. You are here as a guest of Allah, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so directed that you're going to walk up 3 floors, you're going to walk up 3 floors. Okay? Usually the agents will take you. If you don't know, then go with the group, go at the best time. They have time slots. They've tried to make it every year. They've like changed the system a bit because they're upgrading it. Don't rush. There's not a fight. You watch people like the guy will run from the back till the wall. He'll throw his stones like, I killed this guy. He's never coming out again. And the shaitan is laughing because on the way you bumped 3 old ladies and you stepped on the toes of 7 old men. Okay, and you knock the wheelchair also. So it's an ibadah. You're going there. The reward for every stone that you throw is Allah wipes away one major sin that would get you into Jahannam on its own. So how careful must you be? Now you have to be very careful that the stone doesn't have to hit the wall, but it has to fall in the circle here. If it hits the wall and it falls out, that one is rejected, it's not counted. So if you throw it too hard, and even to that extent, they made the wall uneven. Because if it was smooth, it will hit the wall and come back. Okay? So just all you have to do is throw lightly. Because you're not defeating the shaitan. What you're saying, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Allah, I'm making this feeble attempt to take out the shaitan from my life, but ultimately it is you who's doing it. That's the Jamarat there. There's 5 floors of Jamarat. Okay? And these are the walkways. Mina ends there. There you see all the tents. And they control the traffic and they control the crowds because they're coming in there from Azizia, they're coming from that side, from Makkah. And all of them, they try and make it one-way traffic. And they get, and really compared to what it used to be in the old days, there were stampedes, there were people who got hurt. It was like people were terrified to go for pelting. It's not anything like that. If you have disabled people, old people, or somebody is scared, there's even permission to go at night. Okay. So don't panic, you just calmly throw your stones and Allah Ta'ala accept it. As far as the tawaf of ziyarah, I told you it is a rukun of Hajj. It has to be done any day from the 10th to the 13th Maghrib. Okay, must be done there. And thereafter you will do your sa'i. Okay, you can do it with ihram or without ihram. So even if you didn't get a chance now to cut your hair and you're still in ihram, you can still do it. Allah has now wiped out your sins. Allah has now asked you whatever you want, my servant asked. Now when you go there, yes, it's full. The tawaf is full, especially on the 10th. It's like impossible to move. You can literally stand there in one spot on the mataf for 45 minutes and you're not going anywhere. Don't panic, don't fight. If it's too full, come out and you come back a little bit later. Please take cognizance of your woman. They may not be up to it. We're robust guys. We play pedal once a week. We talk. We solid. They're not. Okay. Think of them also. If she needs to rest before making sa'i, during sa'i, do it. There's no rewards for I finished my umrah in 2.5 hours. What do you mean 2.5? I did in 1 hour 55 minutes. Now the guy say 45 minutes. I know a shortcut. Don't do that. It's an ibadah. Take your time. As you make tawaf, make dua. Every round, make dua. A very simple technique that I use is for each round, I choose one topic. So the first one is for myself, the second one is for my parents, the third one is for my children, the fourth one for my wife. Like that, you covered everybody, so you got something to focus on. Otherwise, you don't know where you are, you're making all sorts of things. Similarly with Saeed, each round pick a topic and say I'm making dua. Make all the duas for my business, make it for my akhirah, for my children. So from the 10th to the 13th, after you will stay in Mina and you will pelt each day after Zawal, or the pelting opens after Zawal, and then you can pelt, as I say, right until the time of Maghrib. But normally we know Maghrib, our Islamic day goes to the next day, not on these days. It stays the 13th. It stays the 12th. So merciful is Allah. So if you're pelting even after Maghrib, you're not pelting the next days, you're pelting 2 days. Okay? And as I told you, every stone removes one major sin. So stay for that extra day, the 6th day of Hajj. That is Mina. It just goes on forever and ever. The Jamarat is there, right that side. Okay. As a word of caution in Mina, stay away from idle talk, because now, Alhamdulillah, Hajj is done. We done. We got our haircut. We're wearing kurta again. We're looking and smelling human again. We get it. Now we start making nonsense. You got a complete clean slate. What do you think Shaitan comes? He says, here's a big black marker. Please scratch on it. Please spoil your life. Please. Do not. Mina is a place people will, now we got hours to kill because there's nothing. Read Quran. And if you can't do anything, go sleep. Okay. So you've made your tawaful ziyarah. On your tawaful wida, just few things. It must be done before you leave. Okay. Women, if they are unable to, or if they're off in that time, then the whole obligation of tawaful wida falls away. It doesn't have to be your last tawaf. Okay, you can make your tawaful wida with the intention of wida, then you still go and make a nafil tawaf. Otherwise, what happens is people make the tawaful wida and then they like, don't go to the haram again. Like it became, no, I can't go there. And I can't make tawaf. No, you can. Okay. Don't delay it till the last, because if you don't, then I mean you're going to fall foul of it's an obligation on you if you are able to. So again, I bring you to the point that you are not going to make Hajj. Hajj is going to make you. You will come across people who are difficult. You will come across people. Allah will put them there. You will get the shopkeeper who might take away 10 reals from you. On that point, please do not ever argue with the people of Medina Sharif on prices. If you are not happy with the price, walk out. Do not sit there and bargain with the men. Those are the people of Medina. Okay. The excellence of Hajj is not in following all these rites. It is in your behavior. On Mina, whether you read 5 Qurans or 10 Qurans, but if you went and caused difficulty to the person next to you because you stole his mattress and he's sleeping on the floor, then you must or you were speaking harshly to people. And feeding people does not mean you have to go and feed the whole mass of poor people. Nabi alayhi salam's hadith just said that feed people. It doesn't say who, what. So just going out and buying a couple of juice and coming into the tent and saying, guys, here's cold juice. It's part of it. Yeah. Get on the bus and you got ice or cold water. Guys, here's water. And for that, with the right intention, Allah will reward you. If you can, you buy some things and you go and give it out to the poor people. There's lots and lots of people who, although they managed to come for Hajj, they like just made it and they don't even have the surplus to say, I can buy me a luxury. And some of them you'll see, they'll walk from their camp to the Jamarat and the thought of going back, so they sit there and they got no food. Okay. So, bottom line, have a like Hajj. Okay, because you're going to Jannah. With the wife. Wives, Mufti Sahib, wives. Plural. I just want to cover some of the practical aspects. Sorry, I know it's late, but I'm just going to run through this quickly. Sorry, that's last year's thing. Please have all your contracts and paperwork in order. Okay, Maulana yesterday mentioned about creating a WhatsApp group between you and your wife, putting all the documents on there. Good idea. If you want, put it in your Acrobat Cloud, put it wherever you want, but have a printed copy and have also somewhere that your documents are available. Please also make sure that your will is in order. Because we all say we want to die in Medina Sharif. But you ask the man, did you make a will? He said no. So then how serious are you about dying in Medina? The whole purpose is trying to avoid disputes. So make sure, even with your agent, that you have a written contract. You know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly what date you're leaving from Makkah to Azizia. And it's based on the Islamic date, not on the English date. So know that if the date changes, so suddenly they tell you today is the 1st, you pack up and you move. Or if you were leaving whatever date you're supposed to leave. So make sure, because it mustn't be now, you didn't tell me you're leaving from the 18th of Zilqada. And now I'm sitting here 3 weeks in Azizia. Look at your contract carefully, list all the details, ask, make sure your flights are confirmed, make sure you know where's your hotel. It's very nice to say it's only 300 meters from the Haram. 300 meters from the Haram will take you anything like 30 to 40 minutes to walk. Okay, and you've got old people and they say very lovely hotel there, double tree. That slope is serious. Even a pedal tennis player is not going to make it. So know where's your hotel, know what you're buying. Is food included, excluded? Food is, that there are people who prepare food and that, but it's very difficult because you go to the Tazas and you're standing there in the queue, you can stand for an hour. Now, meanwhile, you're listening, the azan is going, this food is, my order is done. It's very, very difficult and you end up wasting a lot of time. So check if there's food included, what food. Usually they'll include a black breakfast, but make sure you know you're getting what you paid for. Azizia food is a little bit easier. Transport is a bit difficult. The taxis then start charging you whatever they feel like. Okay, on that 10th of Zil Hajj, from Azizia to Makkah, they will charge you 50 riyals per person. And they'll put 5 people in a taxi. And normally the route is 3 riyals. Yeah. They made a lot of bar for risk. Okay, make sure which camp you're in and don't be disappointed. What does the 5 days include? Usually it includes food, it includes adequate bathrooms, it includes a place with a mattress and a pillow, but confirm that with them. Whether you're getting special services, buses, or you're getting private buses, when you're moving, all these things, just confirm. So in your contract, you should be there. Is your Qurbani included in there? Is Ziyarat included in there? Ask. You're paying a fortune. I know you have to make sabr, but you don't have to be a, a walkover. Every will has a traveler's will, make a complete will. It's available from Jamiyat, from Al Baraka, Mufti Ilyas's website, Jamiyat KZN. Several of them have copies of all your documentation. As far as currency goes, there's various options. Cash is about the easiest and the best thing to operate with. The best one is $100 bills. They don't like smaller denominations. They give you less for your money if you use $20 bills. Okay. South African rands are not, they accept it, but you're going to get peanuts for them. Okay. The other alternative is to use your credit card. Check the charges that they charge for you for international transactions. You can withdraw from the ATM, but like FNB will charge you about $80 per withdrawal from ATM. Capitec is a little bit cheaper. Check all these things. These are practical things. You don't want during your Hajj to be running around to say, now, how do I cash money? One of the easiest ways is you take your $100 bill, you go to Window, you buy yourself a Snickers bar, and they'll give you change in reals. Okay, and they'll give you the full 373. Whereas you go outside, sometimes they don't like doing that because now you ate up all their money. Keep your money safe. As I told you, unfortunately, even in that place, you have problems. There are people there. If you're going to give sadaqah, give to the people working in the harams. They are there, many of them, that is their livelihood, and really they're saving up to go home. And if one of them makes dua for you in that place, then you set. So every day, especially Madinah Sharif, every day, make a point of giving one of them, whatever, 5, 10 riyals. You don't have to give a lot. The more you can, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us. We're going there to earn Jannah, earn it in every road. From the medical side, as far as immunizations go, yellow fever and meningitis are compulsory. All the others are voluntary. So if you want to take pneumonia, you want to take all the others, discuss it with your doctor. But the yellow fever and the meningitis, and please get the correct strain. If you go to some obscure doctor and he doesn't know the Saudi regulations and he's offering it to you cheaper, meningitis, there's a quadrivalent meningitis and there's a bivalent. You take the bivalent one, they're not going to be impressed with you and you don't want trouble. As far as your medications, Maulana mentioned yesterday, then make sure you take a travel script, not a script for using at the chemist, to say this person uses the following, especially if you're using benzodiazepines, okay, sleeping tablets, or you're using psychiatric medicine. The Schedule 6s and that they're not available there. You will not get them. And also, if you don't have a travel script and they decide, you know what, there's little white tablets in your packet, don't look like what they are. You're going to be in trouble. Last year, there was a guy who went and unfortunately he took CBD oil. Okay, cannabis oil. He came out of prison now, Ramadan. So it's a reality. He spent a year and he took it only because he used to rub his father down with it. Non-negotiable. You take any cannabis product there and they find it. Yeah, you're going to make it tikka for you don't want. If you have any medical conditions, please make sure that you account for it, you consider it, you know what you're doing. If you're a diabetic, you know you need to eat on time, you need to look after your vaccines. Gee, one slide back. Gee. I'm not going to go into that. That was COVID. From a practical point of view, we South Africans are very weak. Okay, in terms of our physique and also in terms of our immune system. So please, when you're in a crowd, wear a mask. Because unfortunately, people come there with international germs and we're not used to them. And then we have people when they come home and they're sitting with like exotic pneumonias and they really battle. So to avoid that, when the crowds are very thick, wear the mask if you, or if the person next to you is coughing, get up and move somewhere else. You don't need to expose yourself to that kind of risk. You don't know, because if you get sick there, you just ruin your Hajj. Because then they're going to bring you to Arafat in an ambulance and that's not pleasant. As far as medication, make sure take what is necessary. Most of the stuff is available there. However, now they don't give you antibiotics over the counter, so you have to make a plan. You have to go to the doctor. Your Hajj visa includes medical insurance. You can go to the clinic there and they will give you free medical treatment. Okay, you have to sit in the queue. If you want private medical treatment, you can get that too. But a doctor coming to your room will cost you something like about 400 to 600 riyals. You can translate that times 5. Mas kung mungkin makan, please take your medication in the original packaging. As I say, the little white tablets in a plastic packet may not go down too well because they're not labeled. And then they're going to have, if you use specs, take extra specs and keep the stuff in your hand luggage. So if your bag gets lost, at least you have a week's medication there and you can make a plan. Other medication for cuts and burns and whatever else, painkillers, rehydrate, very important. I will come to that just now. For diabetics, you've got a bit of a challenge because on the 5 days of Hajj, if you're using insulin, there's no fridges available. You're going to have to work out how you're going to work with your insulin. There are little portable refrigeration units for insulin pens. Please look into it because your insulin in 45 degrees is going to become water and it's going to be useless and you don't want to have a diabetic crisis there. Okay, for the ladies, as far as delaying Hayd, please discuss it with your GP. But just time it so that you can make your tawaf ziyarah. Very important is the tawaf ziyarah. Understand you can do all the other acts of Hajj, even in the state of Hayd. You can pelt, you can be on Arafat, you can make dua, but you cannot make the tawaf ziyarah. Okay. So work out your timing. For now, sometimes a woman, I know we're enthusiastic, but you try and delay it for 30 days. It's not going to happen. And guess when the breakthrough bleeding is going to happen? At a point when you really don't want it. So please just work this thing out carefully. There are different methods. There's Premalet, but usually Premalet will only delay it for about 10, maybe 18 days max. Then we start getting issues. Okay, but talk to your GP. If you want to use the pill or whatever it is, you're going to have to start well in advance. Okay. Please guys, this is critical. That is the temperature graph. You are here. Okay. The temperatures here is 40 degrees average. It goes up to 45. Okay. The morning temperature is 30 degrees. Can you imagine how hot it is? On Arafat, you're sitting outside. It's 45 degrees. Please hydrate very well. The humidity is down to 25%. The air is dry. If you got eczema, if you got skin problems, it's going to get aggravated. The UV index is at the highest. What does that tell you? Hydrate. Okay. Use sun protection. Use an umbrella. Don't be an hero. You get heat exhaustion. I promise you, it's like you see the guy just collapse there. And like you can't get him up. Heat stroke is a very different thing. That one needs. Then 3 days are gone now trying to just get this guy out of his heat exhaustion. Cover your neck. Stay out of the sun. We are not geared up for this. Don't be a hero and say, now I'm going to make tawaf at 11 o'clock in the morning. Because it's very quiet. You go, inshallah, maybe it will be your last tawaf, then I don't know. So please, there is a risk of sunburn, sunstroke, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, dehydration, even your feet burning. Try walking on that marble without shoes. It's like, yeah, it's very painful. So please look after yourself. Please take care. You came for Hajj. Don't burn yourself out before Hajj. Yeah. It sounds like, okay, no, I need to drink 3 liters a day. Yes, you need to drink 3 liters a day. Drink 3 liters a day and put rehydrate in 1 liter of that every day. Because not only you need to replace water, you need to replace your electrolytes. Okay. Look after yourself. Take care, because then you come either there or otherwise you come back and the man is sick and sick. Just the word, the Zamzam that is refrigerated, they use a particular refrigerant which is very irritant to the throat. And then that's when we find that the people, it's very enjoyable to have that ice cold Zamzam. But you find that then the people end up with what they call flu. And it's a very difficult flu to treat because it's basically that irritant that has got to the throat. The other word of caution is the crowds. Okay, there's 2 million people there. They're all dressed like you. Okay. If you're going to, as I say, stay with your wife, please stay with your wife. If she has to separate for Salah, make a specific meeting place. Don't say I meet you outside gate 37 or door 37. Door 37 is about 35 meters. Say on the right hand side, exactly at this spot. We make a spot. And if I don't get you here, I'll meet you at the hotel. Okay? Take care of the woman. Please take care of your woman. Okay? You went there for them. You need to look after them. There's a few useful apps. Okay? The main one is the Nusuk app, which will basically you need for all your things to book your Umrah. It also has got a lot of useful information about Hajj and other things. The Makkah bus transit will tell you when the bus is coming. Useful to get from Azizia to Makkah, but when in Hajj, peak Hajj, like near impossible. Okay. That covers that. For the guys who want to walk, that's the distances. Azizia to the Haram is 6.6. Okay, by taxi. So 7 Ks. So if you want to walk, you can walk. But just know that this journey of 7 kilometers can take up to 3 hours on the 10th of Zilhajj. Azizia to Mina is about 3.4 to 3.6 because depending which part of Mina, I showed you how big it is. Mina to Arafat is 15 Ks. Please, if you're not really up to it, do not attempt it. It's 45 degrees. You leave after Fajr. By the time you get there, you can just do this in about 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Okay. By the time you leave after Fajr is 9 o'clock when you get there. The sun is sitting at about 45 degrees. It's hot. Okay. Arafat to Muzdalifah is 12 Ks, and then Muzdalifah to Mina, that's the one I told you that maybe you will have to walk. That one is a useful walk. The camp to the Jamarat between 3 and 4 kilometers. Jazakumullah khair. Any questions?
When I have the camps, can one use earbuds to block out those that snore?
Yeah, earplugs you can use. Please use them. Yeah, they are permissible. There's nothing, no prohibition to using them. Yeah, Namira. No, please don't attempt it. It's far. It accommodates 50,000 people. Of the 2 million, all of them want to be there. It's nice to be there. It would be nice to listen to the khutbah and to perform the salah with the Imam of Hajj, but it's going to cost you a lot in terms of time. And because we're not familiar with the terrain, to get from our camp to the masjid and back can take you anything up to 4 hours. That's your Arafat gone. In Mina, the Masjid al-Khaif, you can go there on those last 2-3 days. Then it starts turning out. But before that, the first day it's quite full because a lot of people use it for sleeping place. It's too far for them. The camps are like about 6-7 kilometers out. So it's too far for them. So they just find a nice spot in the masjid. It's air conditioned, it's comfortable, and they stay there. By the 11th and 12th day, it starts turning out. So if you want to go to Masjid al-Khaif, it is reported that there are 70 Anbiya buried there. Any other questions?
Next one, traveling with the train, right?
Yes.
I've heard it's very cold. And your second ihram that you're carrying, can you use that to cover you?
Yes, you can use your second ihram. I would recommend that on your 5 days, you take take just one piece. Don't take a complete ihram.
Okay.
So if the bottom sheet or top sheet, because they're interchangeable, should get soiled. And also when you want to lie down in Mina, then you can cover yourself and you're not at risk of your satar being exposed. So you take this extra towel that you had and you cover yourself with that. So in the train, yes, you can use it. But as I said, do not cover your face, do not cover your head. Please.
There's just a few things that I wanted to share. The one is that make sure you buy a big ihram. So sometimes you buy an ihram and you don't wear it, and it's like very short, and it becomes very difficult. So wear your ihram before you go. Take a bigger size ihram, it covers long. Make sure you know how to wear your ihram as well. In the 3 days, it does become challenging. Wear a towel 1 or 2 days in your room, just to get the feel of how it is to have the ihram on, especially for extended period. The other trick is that, especially for the men, you need a little bit of Vaseline to put in your thighs so you don't get a rash. Otherwise, it also becomes very difficult and uncomfortable when you are in the ihram for the 3 days. The ladies, from tomorrow morning, you need to be walking minimum 10 kilometers a day. And I'm not exaggerating. We need to walk. Tomorrow after Fajr, take the family after Asr, start, but at least 10 kilometers a day we need to get before. Safa Marwa is 7.2 kilometers. That's only Safa Marwa.
And the tawaf on the first floor is now about 4.8 kilometers.
So it's 11 kilometers just your tawaf. And I'm telling you, we're not used to walking. So please, I'm asking you, tomorrow, every one of us, find a place. Our place across here, if you walk on it, is 1 kilometer, this entire pathway by the Estro. Walk it 10 times. But walk it, because if you don't get used to walking, it's very difficult. To walk from your hotel to the entrance of the Haram in Medina is just about 500 steps. From the entrance to the front is just under 1 kilometer. So we don't walk. Mufti Sahib walks every day. So Mufti Sahib is fit. But the rest of us, we don't walk. We really have a problem when we're there and we don't want to go. And there's no taxis. There's one thing you have to do from tomorrow morning. We have to walk with our women folk. The new shoe you're buying, you start wearing it from tomorrow, so your feet become comfortable or ready for that. The woman folk, you buy an expensive Skechers, please. Tomorrow you go, you get it, and you walk your feet in so that you're already ready for it. The men folk, whatever you're going to be wearing for your ihram, when you're walking this time, walk with it so that your feet become accustomed to it. Because we get so physically tired, then spiritually we don't exert ourselves. Then we come, I just need to rest. Mana, the deep heat can have, and then all of these things come. We really don't have the habit of walking. To walk in Makkah Mukarramah, it is extremely busy. To get from wherever your hotel is into the mataf is really, it's exhausting. And if you're not physically fit, it does pose challenges. Please start tomorrow morning till your trip and walk as much as you can. This is the most important advice physically to prepare yourself for the trip also. And lastly, when you're going properly, you're going to Medina Munawwara first. In the aeroplane, there's no need to watch entertainment, guys. You're going to Medina now, just off it, play a Quran, play Tilawat, read a Kitab. You have 7 hours to wherever you're going and probably another 4 hours. Plan yourself what you're going to do in that time. Talk to your wife. You'll be surprised how much of her you don't know. The best honeymoon you will ever have, you have no children, you have no work, you have no cooking, you have no spring cleaning, nothing. If you can't bond now, you'll never be able to bond with your spouse. This is the time to bond. Talk to her. You have 11 hours on a plane. Talk to her. Whatever you want, talk. You're traveling from Makkah Mukarramah to Medina. It's a 5-hour journey, 6 hour. Talk to your spouse. Enjoy the trip with your partner. Sahaba had children in Medina. Children were born in Medina. All of these things happen. I don't say now in Medina. No. Allah Ta'ala has given you that. You are in that part of your life where you can go. You have no children. You have nothing. You need to bond with your spouse. You have no in-laws. You don't have to prepare for anyone meals. And the last thing, please, the most amount of fitna happens in Azizia. Now the Hajiba and the Hajiban are having pizza together, and they say you must have the tuna pizza, it's very lekker. Guys, you can have a pizza when you come back. Those are valuable moments. Don't go eat in the restaurant. You tried the ice cream with a pista. You'll have ice cream with pista. Kasam you'll have it. But you don't have to now lose everything just to go have the ice cream with the pista in the shop next to the Dafa Day in Medina Munawwara. It's not that important. The most important thing is that you must spend your time correctly. I promise you 6 weeks goes in a jiffy. 3 weeks, just like that, it's over. If you don't plan yourself, you'll come back and ever, hey, how was your trip? Oh, there's nothing like that. But in your heart, hey, I don't know what I done. So if you don't plan yourself, you will come back more empty than you left. But if you plan yourself, you'll be able to achieve much. The last thing is 2 kitabs you should try and buy. One is a kitab called Munajat al-Maqbool or Hizb al-A'zam. So these 2 kitabs are written that on a daily basis is a particular adhkar from Quran and Hadith that is there for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Try and read the Arabic and the English. The du'as in there are just amazing. And the du'as in Munajat, in Hizb al-A'zam, the chapter on Friday that has all the durood is amazing durood. It's quite lengthy. Every day in Medina, read that. That aspects of the Munajat al-Maqbool is very, very good. Try and read that amount. If you can't, Abbasi does have it. The Jamiyat KZN print is about the clearest. So if you're able to get that one, get that one. It's really a good kitab. Try and read it every day if you can. And if you read the English, it will give you an understanding of what du'as to make. If you can't, you can just download it, the Play Store. Both Android and Apple both have these kitabs on. You download it and you just read it, very, very beneficial. Lastly, take your masala from one person in your whole trip. So if you're going and in your group is Mufti Amir, you sorted. If in another group is doctors, all your masalas, just take from one person. Say, Maulana, this is a problem. Mufti Sahib said, do like this, bus. My Maulana, no problem. Your Maulana said, his Maulana. If you take your masala from one person in your whole trip, you will have no contradiction in your masail. After that, you will be okay, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala accept all of you, Allah Ta'ala reward you, Allah Ta'ala make it a spiritual Hajj. And when you come back, share with us your experiences so we could share with the next group next, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi.
جزاكم الله خيرا.